Hello, welcome back to our data visualization lecture series on the book Storytelling with Data, a data visualization guide for business professionals. My name's Joe, and in this video, we're going to discuss Chapter 4, Focus Your Audience's Attention. We want to get at why attention matters. The fact is, people don't read visuals carefully. They scan it first and then interpret it later. If attention isn't guided, important ideas get missed, and meaning gets lost. Good design doesn't just show data, it directs attention. Effective visual communication is not simply about removing clutter. It's about deliberately guiding attention. Once distractions are eliminated, the remaining elements must be organized in a way that directs perception, supports understanding, and shapes interpretation. Visual design is not neutral. It always influences what people notice first, what they notice next, and what they may never notice at all. Because human attention is limited, design must act as a guide rather than a container. The goal is not to display information, but to control how it's perceived. To design effectively, we must begin with a simple truth. People do not see with their eyes alone. They see with their brains. Visual perception is a cognitive process. Light enters the eyes, but meaning is constructed in the brain. What feels like seeing is actually interpretation, filtering, and pattern recognition. This means that visual communication is fundamentally psychological, not merely graphical. Understanding how memory and perception operate allows us to design visuals that align with how people naturally process information rather than forcing them to work against their own cognitive systems. Human perception is tightly connected to memory. Three memory systems play distinct roles in how visuals are experienced: iconic memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. Now, each of these operates slightly differently and imposes different constraints on our design. Iconic memory is extremely fast and operates below conscious awareness. It evolved as a survival mechanism, allowing humans to detect differences, movement, and anomalies in the environment almost instantly. This system is tuned to visual contrast and difference. It does not analyze content. It detects change, variation, and distinctiveness. This makes it ideal for attention direction. If something visually stands out, iconic memory registers it immediately, before conscious thought begins. Short-term memory is limited and fragile. It can hold only a small number of visual elements at once. When visuals require people to juggle too many symbols, colors, labels, or categories simultaneously, comprehension slows and cognitive fatigue increases. Overloading short-term memory leads to confusion, disengagement, and loss of meaning. Design must therefore reduce unnecessary complexity, group related elements, and form coherent chunks of information that can fit within a limited working memory capacity. Long-term memory stores experiences, concepts, and associations accumulated over time. Visuals can activate long-term memory by triggering recognition, meaning, and emotional associations. Images, shapes, and familiar patterns help retrieve stored knowledge, especially when combined with language. When visual and verbal elements reinforce each other, meaning becomes easier to encode and recall. Strong design, therefore, supports not only understanding in the moment, but memory formation over time. Certain visual features are processed automatically and instantly by the brain. These features are known as pre-attentive attributes. They include size, color, intensity, position, orientation, shape, motion, enclosure, line length, line width, curvature, and added marks. These attributes are detected by iconic memory before conscious attention is engaged. Pre-attentive attributes are powerful because they do not require effort to interpret. They act as visual signals that say, "Look here," without requiring instruction. When one element differs from its surrounding in a pre-attentive way, the brain detects it immediately. This means we can guide attention without explanation, labels, or narration. Strategic use of pre-attentive attributes enables two essential design functions. Number one, directing attention to specific elements, and two, creating visual hierarchies. So in this picture, let's count the number of threes. Now, when I direct the attention, it ensures that the audience sees what matters first. Visual hierarchy ensures that they see the rest in a meaningful order. Together, these functions transform visuals from static displays into guided experiences. Visual hierarchy is the structured ordering of importance within a visual space. It determines the sequence in which information is perceived. Without hierarchy, everything competes equally for attention, forcing the viewer to search for meaning. With hierarchy, meaning is organized and interpretation becomes intuitive. Hierarchy is created through controlled variation. Larger elements signal greater importance. Stronger color contrast draws focus. Bolder intensity increases prominence. Spatial positioning implies priority. Grouping implies structure. De-emphasis pushes elements into the background. Now, not all pre-attentive attributes exert equal strength. Some dominate attention more than others. Color and size are highly powerful. Italics and subtle contrast are weaker. Designers must therefore treat emphasis as a limited resource. If everything is emphasized, nothing is emphasized. Hierarchy requires contrast, and contrast requires restraint. Effective hierarchy creates scannability. In the first few seconds of viewing, the audience should grasp the core message even if they do not read everything. This initial perception window is critical. People decide quickly whether to engage further or to disengage. Visual hierarchy ensures that even brief attention produces understanding. There's an important distinction between visual use used for explanation and exploration. Exploratory visuals are designed for analysis, discovery, and pattern finding. Explanatory visuals are designed for storytelling, interpretation, and understanding. In exploratory contexts, heavy emphasis can distort perception by hiding alternative patterns. Neutral design supports open-ended discovery. In explanatory contexts, emphasis is necessary. The designer already knows the message and must guide the audience toward it. Here, pre-attentive attributes become tools of narrative structure rather than analysis. Design must therefore match purpose. Visual neutrality supports exploration. Visual guidance supports explanation. Confusing the two leads to either misinterpretation or cognitive overload. When it comes to explanatory analysis, leveraging this visual to share information with your audience rather than just showing the data. Thoughtful use of color and text is one way we can focus the story. We can go one step further, using the same visual but with modified focus and text to lead our audience from the macro to the micro part of the story. Especially in live presentation settings, repeated iterations of the same visual with different pieces emphasized to tell different stories or different aspects of the same story can be an effective strategy. This allows you to familiarize your audience with your data and visual first, and then continue to leverage it in the manner illustrated. Note in this example how your eyes are drawn to the elements of the visual you're meant to focus on due to strategic use of pre-attentive attributes. Size communicates importance. Humans naturally associate larger elements with greater significance. This association is automatic and deeply integrated. Size therefore acts as a powerful hierarchical signal. Equal importance should be represented with equal size. Unequal size implies unequal value. If one element is visually dominant, it will be perceived as conceptually dominant, regardless of the intent. Design choices about size must therefore be deliberate. Accidental size dominance can distort interpretation and decision-making. Size should never be the result of convenience or layout constraints. It must be a conscious design decision tied to meaning. Color is one of the strongest attention-directing tools available. When used sparingly, it's extraordinarily powerful. When overused, it becomes noise. Color should be intentional, limited, consistent, and meaningful. High color variety destroys pre-attentive power. If many colors compete, none stand out. Contrasts disappear, attention becomes scattered, and really simplicity restores the effectiveness of the visual. Consistency builds cognitive learning. When a color repeatedly signals importance, the audience learns to follow it. Color becomes a navigation system rather than a decoration. Design must also account for accessibility. Color should never be the only signal for meaning. Visual distinctions must remain visible to colorblind viewers through contrast, brightness, shape, or annotation. Color also carries emotional tone. It shapes the psychological atmosphere of the visual. Muted colors feel analytical. Bold colors feel urgent. Soft colors feel friendly. Strong contrast feels authoritative. The tone should match the message and the audience context. Brand colors can be used strategically, but branding must not override the clarity. When brand colors reduce contrast or visibility, alternative emphasis strategies should be used. Communication always needs to take priority over decoration. Spatial placement communicates importance. People naturally begin visual scanning at the top left of the page or screen and move in a zigzag pattern. This makes top positioning high-value real estate. Important information should be placed where attention naturally goes first. If critical content is buried, the audience must search for it, increasing the cognitive effort and reducing engagement. Design work with natural scanning patterns. Design work should work with natural scanning patterns and not against them. Layouts that contradict intuitive reading flow create discomfort and confusion. Spatial logic must feel natural to the viewer's perceptual habits. Attention really is a design responsibility. Designers are responsible for attention management. If a visual is confusing, overwhelming, or unclear, the failure is not with the audience, it's with the design. Attention must be earned, guided, and respected. Pre-attentive attributes are not decoration tools. They're cognitive instruments. They shape perception, interpretation, and memory. When used strategically, they create clarity. When used carelessly, they create chaos. Visual communication should reduce effort, not increase it. It should guide, not test. It should clarify, not overwhelm. And it should support cognition, not compete with it. By understanding perception, memory, and attention, we can design visuals that guide the eye naturally, reduce the cognitive load, create meaning through structure, highlight what matters, suppress what distracts, communicate efficiently, and respect the audience's mental effort. Design is not about making things look good. It's about making things understandable. Focus is not about emphasis. It's about intention. Attention is not accidental. It's designed. Hierarchy is not decoration. It's communication structure. So some final thoughts. When we control attention, we control meaning. When we guide perception, we guide understanding. When we design for the brain, not just the eye, visuals become instruments of clarity rather than containers of information. This is the essence of focused visual communication. Not showing everything, but showing the right things in the right order with the right emphasis for the right understanding. With that, consider your fourth lesson learned. Now you know how to focus your audience's attention where you want them to pay it. And so we'll see you again in the next video.